Welcome to Semi Sages of the Pages, where I'm forced to do the intro because they have their fingers on their nose. And if you're nosy, you're here to enjoy first pages by other authors, or maybe to find out if your first pages are chosen. So let's get to it. We're going to use the even better if model, where we focus on all the great things in your writing, and then we're going to propose some things to make it even better. I'm Morgan.
This is Molly. I'm fuzzy.
And
I'm
I'm
fuzzy today.
and I'm Teresa.
Let's get to it.
All right, super excited here.
Teresa, what genre do we have today, or do we
Ooh,
have the
I'm gonna try to
piece's
keep
name?
working nosy in somehow.
Oh, that's a great question.
Genre, what genre?
Great question that I am
Ooh,
completely yet
audience,
again unprepared to answer.
tell us in
So
the chat.
this is a detective mystery thriller, and the name
Ooh,
is Streets of Redemption. So this is a new genre for us. All right,
Ooh,
ready?
yes.
yeah, do it.
It's been 13 years, 13 freaking years, and by my womb, I forbid you from going tonight, Adeline said as Malik held the door, Malik held the knob of the door. I'm warning you, Malik, I mean it. Malik turns the knob, dusty and revolving like torpedo rans his eyes. He pulls up his hoodie and casts a final glance at Adelaide. She stirs back at him with resolved eyes. No going back on her decision again. The saloon owner on the lane, closing up her shop, watches him through the reflection of her glass door, sighing as Malik strode purposefully past shuttering storefronts. Metal gates rattled into place across traditional storefronts. At the same time, a night market sprang up like clockwork. Vendors laid out their stalls before dark buildings, fabrics and spices catching the last daylight. Crowds swirled between makeshift aisles, haggling loudly. Down the block, laughter spilled from Tarek's barber shop as his steady clippers worked. Snatches of conversation drifted out, something about a recent arrest, neighborhood gossip. But as he passed, the chatter hushed or stuttered to an end. He didn't look to see their eyes tracking him, as they always had since he was a boy. By now, he was accustomed to the furtive glances from neighbors who had known him since childhood. Some waved in greeting, but their smiles never fully reached their eyes when they looked his way. As he slipped past two women, his hoodie pulled low and head bent down, Malik's ears catch snippets of today's rumors. Did you hear about the drug bust that happened some days ago? I believe I did. It was by the woman officer, right? Adelaide Bricks. Yes, bless her soul. But don't you find it strange for a woman to be on the force? Strange? Not at all. She has really shaken things up since she joined the force. My husband doesn't like her at all. He says she is too uptight in the workplace. Something about feeling much superior, she adds with an eye roll. But her son, oh, that poor boy. Did you know he still visits that place every night? Every night, you say? After all these 13 years? Oh, yes, my daughter sees him taking that road anytime she is closing up. I have no idea why I got Southern, but it felt like it
I'm
went with
liking the
it.
voices.
All right, so what are our thoughts on that? And I apologize to the author if this isn't Southern, because it just kind of happened.
One thing I love about this piece that strikes me right away is I love that they have captured this feeling of being surrounded by a busy place and yet not belonging, and yet being kind of your own island, being alone, right? Like slipping between people, slipping between the motions, and there's busy and there's gossip and there's all these things like passing around you, but you yourself are kind of untouched and you're slipping by unnoticed. These these two people are talking, and they're talking about this character's mother, and it's talking about the themselves, and yet they don't even realize that he's there. So I love that kind of, if you've ever like walked through a busy city kind of with your hoodie on and kind of caught snippets of conversation, I think, we've all kind of had those moments, and I loved how the author captured that.
I agree. Yeah. I loved the idea of the the night market springing up. I thought that was just beautiful because you do see that. You see like it's day is done and now it's night and it's a totally different crowd and totally different vendors. It actually made me feel like maybe there was kind of a alt, this might be alt history, alt universe. It had a little bit kind of a different vibe to it. Maybe historical. That was another part that maybe I was
Ooh,
picking up on.
oh, I got maybe even magical realism could be.
Yeah, maybe a magical realism
Or
world.
or it just is the normal world. Could be. Maybe I read too much spec fic.
Morgan, what do you think?
I was not in that frame. I think this is more slice of life Americana.
Hmm.
I
Mm,
think
Sure.
it's more,
Yeah.
I think the dialogue is written really well for the genre it's in. The, in the essence that they're showing some really nice layers of the town and those who belong and those who don't. And you can feel the age of the characters. You don't have to say it explicitly, it's clear. And it's clear who's in the traditional Americana mindset and representing that, which is so perfect for the genre. And then also how Malik doesn't quite fit in. And so that gives us the sense of intrigue to keep reading. So that, that was kind of some of it's got a quaint, the town
mhm.
has a quaintness to it, and the characters have a simplicity. And now we've weaved in this main character with an edge. And I'm interested. I'm intrigued. I want to know more about Malik, and I want to know what happened 13 years ago. So I'm totally caught on the question. And I want to know why his mother, is so intent on him letting it go.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
100% agree. This author is really effective at conveying a lot efficiently, right? They're not
Mm,
they're showing versus telling here, like exactly like Morgan said. We learn so much and we're so intrigued by, they never there's it's not explicit how old these, the gossipers are, or even like, what they look like or anything like that, but there you can imagine them being real characters. They
I went
feel real.
Southern. I mean,
You
that's how
you
good it
right,
is.
uh, even before you hit bless her soul, you know
Yeah.
and this author is setting up intrigue, like Morgan said. Great. I want to know more. What happens 13 years? Where is that place? What place is he visiting after 13 years? All this kind of stuff is like, I want to know more. I am intrigued.
Yeah, I agree. I'd like to know why their smiles never fully reach their eyes when they look his way. Yeah. Why he has a hoodie pulled up? Is he hiding? Is it cold? Yeah.
I mean,
Lots and lots of
I
questions.
thought it's clearly he's an outsider in
Hmm.
a, even though he's an insider, like it's clear he's lived there for a while, but something has ostracized him.
Yeah.
And maybe something to do with this place, maybe something to do 13 years. I don't know. We don't know.
Yeah. But that's really good. All right. What about our suggestions?
Might even better if is going to go strongly for our two descriptive paragraphs that are sandwiched inside of the dialogue, which I'm going to say the sentence structure itself would be even better if there weren't some repetition and there was more attention paid to prepositions. So let me show you some concrete examples so you can see what I mean. If you look at the first sentence of the second paragraph, or third paragraph, excuse me, it ends with shuttering storefronts. This is the end of that first. And then if you look at the second sentence, you'll see it ends with storefronts again. And so that kind of repetition is similar word sentences, the way the sentences are framed, creates kind of a repetition that doesn't allow the content to jump out. So just simply like making sure that you're varying your word choice in like small examples of that. And then if you look at like some prepositional use, here's a sentence that I think could really work if the preposition was right. So if you go down to the right above where your cursor is, there's a sentence that starts, some waved in greeting, but their smiles never fully reached their eyes. when they looked his way is when the right proposition there.
No, it's not.
So I think we could either change the preposition or just drop that dependent clause at the end.
I would drop it.
So
Yeah.
so the use of preposition is making it feel a little bit heavy. So just a reminder, prepositions are going to be as, and if you just scan through this, you can see a lot of as's, a lot of whens, and just thinning that out, ats, you can see, and not being afraid of a couple short and choppy sentences, this style would just pop. If both of those paragraphs had a little less dependence on prepositional phrases and had a couple just really short sentences, I think this author would just be completely amazed at how much bang for the buck those short sentences that they really want attention. Let me rephrase that because I sound wandering. Sorry. But adding the most important part, like I agree with Teresa. I think the smile not reaching their eyes is the strongest sentence of that paragraph. So I would personally make it a short and choppy sentence so that it grabs the reader a little faster. And then the beautiful long sentences are great, and the short and choppy can poetically accent it. And I think, oh my goodness, I think this first page would just sing with possibility.
Yeah.
I agree.
Agreed.
Oh, sorry, Teresa, did you want to go first?
No, you go.
My even better if is slightly related. But mine is a little bit more attention paid to verb tense.
Mm-hmm.
So especially between paragraph 1, 2, and 3. Especially in the first like 3 paragraphs, let's say it that way. You start the first, it starts in past and then it switches to present, and then it goes back into past tense and it goes back and forth here in the beginning before finally settling in past tense, right? So what I mean by that, like, you start with Adelaide said, Malik held the doorknob. Okay. And then right there, you're still in the same scene, right? It's not been a scene change. Adelaide continues talking. I am warning you, Malik. I mean it. Then you have Malik turns the knob. Now we're in present tense. So it's just kind of, for me as a reader, confusing why it's going back and forth, even though the scene's not changing. We're not having a flash. It doesn't seem like we're having a flashback. If we are, then that needs to be clearer. So right now, my even better if it was either all of the same tense, that would be less distracting, or clear to me as a reader why the tense is shifting. If we're looking in the past versus the present, I think that would like really elevate the piece to clear up my understanding so I can really just appreciate what's happening.
Yeah, that was going to be my thing as well. I think mine, and this is small, and again, because I tend to prefer to read much further when I give critique, mine's going to be around the first line. I love this first line. It's been 13 years, 13 freaking years, and by my womb. That is such incredibly unique dialogue. And I'm so excited by it. However, as we keep reading, I'm not seeing that level of complexity and nuance and kind of unique language. Now, this may be an example of a little bit goes a long way, and it may be further on. You've got a lot of that coming and everything else. So if you do, then don't worry about it. But if you set the stage with dialogue like this, that's this quirky, you have to pay it off throughout the entire manuscript.
Well, and I think it could also just be her character.
That may be.
Keep me reading to want to know more about her character, because I agree. I think this first line is brilliant. I love it so much. It's fantastic. Really well done. Great job. Yeah. First lines are hard. This is a big deal.
Yeah. All right. Anybody have anything else?
Thank you for letting us read it.
Can I do one more small even better if?
Yep.
small one. I really also love the first line. What do you ladies think? Would it be even more powerful if the first line ended after Adelaide said?
Not for me personally, no.
Yeah, I actually like that. I like the orientation.
In fact, I
Be-
even looked at just cutting
That's
a preposition because you got a double prep as Malik held the knob, period. You could do that prep there, but then you add another one of the door, which is the second prep. So I thought, well, you could cut the second prep of the door, but here I think it works because he wants to leave. And so it shows that he's like holding it. And then by putting them with that door, it re-emphasizes like what's happening in the scene and double grounds us.
So the reason why I said it is because in the next right away you get Malik turning the knob of the door.
But I love
So
that
it's
because
okay.
oh, because he's holding it. I'm sorry, I'm interrupting.
No,
He's
you're good.
holding it, and then Adelaide says, "I'm warning you," and he goes, "Snick," and he turns it.
Snotty.
Right.
And it's also like, what are you going to do? And so, I mean, if you were worried about repetition of words, because this author, you can see there is some repetition. If that's a concern or a critique that you get from a lot of people, you could just put it, say, as Malik held the door. And then the next part is the knob. I personally like the extra description, or you could show the knob itself, the cold knob, the gold knob, whatever. Those are all choices the author gets to make, and I don't think any of them are right or wrong.
Agreed. All right.
Thank you for sharing.
Else? Yeah. Thanks for sharing. If you liked this, please go to www.semisagesofthepages.com to submit your own work. And if you want to come and chat with us, come and hang out on our Discord. That's where we are most of the time. Our Discord continues to grow. And tell your friends, like the video, subscribe, all of that stuff.
Hi, friends. See you soon on the next episode or on the Discord. Submit to us. We love your pages.
Take care.
All right.
Bye.